In today's video, me and James are going to be working on this Golf 8 and we're going to be showing you how to install a genuine Volkswagen Golf Bonnet gas strut so you can get rid of the old crappy one.
Afternoon guys, it's James from Advanced, and today we're going to be showing you how to replace the manual bonnet lifter and holder to the older style, or something that they've now taken away, which is the gas strut, which means that the bonnet can effortlessly lift up and close and stay open rather than having the whole weight of the bonnet and the arm to hold it up. So as part of the kit that we're going to be sending you is a genuine gas strut for this particular model, and it's made by Volkswagen Audi Group. We're also going to be sending you a 13mm nylock nut, 2 10mm penny washers, and the main, whatever you want to call it, nipple thread for this to sit in, because what happens is we're going to put a washer on the main nipple thread. It's going to be fed through to the bonnet and then the other side, and then fixed with the nylock nut. And that's the reason why we're fitting this, is so that it doesn't work itself loose. Once you've got the gas strut, you just need a simple screwdriver, which I will show you now, because you can't just fix this piece on without releasing the clips. So this one is not yet released. This one is released, and that will allow you to push that onto the nipple that's already fitted in the engine bay. And this one here, once it's open, so hopefully the camera can zoom in there, I'm just going to put a flat bladed screwdriver in, so like that, and then lift it up. And all I've done there is lift it up, which is release the tension, and slide it into the unlocked position. And one thing you will notice is you've got a slight angle on this particular join, and it's pretty obvious as to which one goes where, but we will show you in a second. Okay, first things first, open the bonnet. I've already released it. Put your finger underneath here, slide towards the driver's side like so, and lift up. One thing you will notice immediately is that this bonnet is actually incredibly heavy, but we're going to lift it up, and we're going to then use the manual support, big bright yellow black thing, and pop it into its stay. Okay, so bonnet's open. You've all got one of these, providing we are working on a Golf 8. So this little nipple here is already pre-fabricated, pre-welded onto your vehicle, and providing you have already released your spring clip, as I've said before, that's just going to pop on like so, bit of a wibble, and you're going to just push this down. So at the same time, for this to go down, it can't just push in, because you actually have to move the clip down as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my fingers like so, and give that a mic down like so. Now, actually, most of the time they're pretty simple to do, but if you use both fingers, push it down at the same time, that's now locked in and won't come off, like so. Right, so the next part is we're going to remove these 3 plastic clips. Be careful, you can break them, you can drop them, and all they're going to do is able to, for us to release this sound liner or panel liner that absorbs some of the heat from the engine and probably does a bit of sound deadening as well. So you can use a screwdriver, or you just put your finger in on the larger side of the clip, and at the same time you can give it a bit of a wiggle and clip out, or you can just put your screwdriver in on the other side. Now again, I've taken loads of these out where you don't need to worry about tools, but all I've done is I've pinched the 2 clips together. So just to give you an idea of the actual clip and how it works, you've got a 60-40, large side and a thinner side, and you just push them together and it depresses the 2 clips like so. Let's do. Right, so can you just do the last one? Just had to move over so I wasn't reaching over the bonnet. Is depress both the 2, get your nails in there, and put those somewhere safe. So you can always put them on the scuttle, then they're nice and safe like so. Okay, so the next stage then is to release the panel liner. You don't need to take the whole thing out, but for the video purposes, I'm going to do it anyway. It's up to you what you do. Now all it is simply tucked in. Now be careful because you can tear this liner. It's literally just a heat absorber. So you're going to put your hand in, just push it down and release all of the tongues like so. And as you do that, just comes out and put it to one side. Okay, so we're at the next stage of the actual bonnet fitting part. Now we've already done the hydraulic arm, which is here, or the gas strut, whatever you want to call it. Right next to the bonnet stay, the manual bonnet stay, is the hole. Now, in an ideal world, Volkswagen would have left this in here ready for us to do the retrofit, but they haven't. So that's why we need this little nipple bolt, the two 10mm washers, like so, and the 13mm nylock. Now, what you do need for this is some nimble fingered action and two 13mm spanners. Now I'm using, because we're a workshop, an angled 13mm, but also a ratchet, and it makes it much easier to worry about finding the exact thing. But I'm going to use this one behind the scenes because, as you can see here, if Tim can get the camera up there, we've got to get our fingers up inside there on the back end of the nylock and be able to hold that and do that up. So we're going to do that now. Okay, so I've put the penny washer on top of this, and then the next stage is getting our finger up through the hole, putting the washer on and fixing the nuts. So Tim might have to speed this bit up after I've done, because you have to be relatively nimble fingered to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the washer up behind the scenes like so, put the second one up inside. Now, providing you don't let go of that, that's going to sit there nicely. Now what I've been doing is just simply putting the nuts, or the nut, between my fingers like that, and with a little bit of bringing it back like so. Won't happen every time, and you have to be patient, otherwise you might as well get someone else to do it for you. Okay, so third time lucky. I've kept the penny washer on there. I've now got the 13mm nylock nut on the back, and I've just done it hand tight. You don't want it any tighter, because what you do need to do is make sure that your penny washer is central. Now, at the same time, rather than struggling with both, I'm going to stick one spanner up inside here. Now you can get that on top by fitting it over the top of the nut and the washer, or if you want to make it even easier, you can guide it on with your finger and just wiggle it round until it sits home. So I've done that, and I've got one hand now fixing it in place. With the other spanner, you can, and again for illustration purposes or for video purposes, I'm showing you the open-ended. You can put it onto here, but I'm just going to literally, ever so slightly, do up the nut like so. Just a little tiny turn at a time like that, because what you will need to do is you'll need to make sure that it's not doing what it's seeing now. If you can see in the video, Tim, if you can zoom that in, if you don't make the washer central, what you'll find is that it will slip off to one side. So all I need to do on that is wind it back, only enough for the washer to move. Let's see if we can do that a little bit more. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Right, so now we've got the washer back central again, and it's really important that you make sure that that washer is dead central. So as you do it up, you're just going to make sure that you don't get that gap in there. Right, so we're at the point now where I have done the two 13mm, or rather used a 13mm spanner to do the 13mm nut up at the back as well. I've held it tight. Now it took 2 or 3 attempts just to make sure that the penny washer is sitting flat, because what happens is if it's not, what I have found is pushing the penny washer up, because it's not a perfectly flat surface, so if you push it up, then start doing it up. You do get a little bit of movement, but if you want it done perfectly, it might take more than a couple of minutes to do. So we're in, and that's tight. So once you've got your gas strut, you'll notice that this end is ever so slightly curved, and that just to allow for the curvature of the bonnet. But for me to actually push this home, what I need to do is I need to just remove the manual stay. So Tim's going to push the bonnet up. Going to remove the manual stay and pop it down. So you might need a second pair of hands or a piece of wood or your head. And then lower the bonnet onto the stay like so. Now that's fine, but please don't think that's done until you have pushed your little clip home. So both fingers, now that means that's locked in. And at this point, before you put your panel liner back in, the bonnet is now closed and open. Now, as Tim said earlier in the beginning of the video, the height of the bonnet is slightly lower than the manual stay, but something you can live with because of the fact that now you don't need to worry about that. Now, the next part of the video is if you want to, and this is optional, we'll show you how to remove the manual stay. Right, so after you've completed and made secure, this part is optional. You don't have to do it, but this is of no longer of any use to you because it's not going to fit under the bonnet. So, if you want to remove it, it's very simple. Bring the stay all the way over to the driver's side, and if Tim can show you here, we've got a right angle and a right angle. So all you need to do is using your fingers, just pull it on the rubber, and as you're pulling it out like so, you can twist. And as you're twisting like so, like that, you'll then pop out and you can store it somewhere in your garage. This only leaves then the rubber grommet. Rubber grommet's not going to do any harm. You can push it out if you want to, and if you do push it out, then the car will be at stock without it, and the rubber grommet again doesn't look any different to any other vehicle out there. So you can push that and take it out. So that's it, that's the retrofit complete. Obviously putting all the panels back in and just shut the bonnet. Right, so we've just put all the bonnets, panel liner, heat liner back in, and your Golf Mark 8 has now gone from a manual boot bonnet stay to a gas strut, and it's now back to the refined level as it should have been from factory. So here we go, here's the bonnet closing, and once you open it again, there's the bonnet opening effortlessly. So you've been watching Advanced in Car. This is a how-to video. We can sell you this kit, but we can also supply and install it for you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like all of our social media stuff, and thanks very much for watching.